The year was 1991. The world watched as one of the most technologically advanced military operations in history unfolded in the Middle East. Operation Desert Storm was not just a war, it was a demonstration of modern military power, global geopolitics, and the dawn of a new world order. But what led to this moment? Why did Iraq invade Kuwait? How did the United States and its allies respond? And what were the long-term consequences of this conflict? Let us take a deep dive into the history of the Gulf War and the historic Operation Desert Storm. To understand the Gulf War, we need to go back to August 2nd, 1990. On this day, Saddam Hussein, the leader of Iraq, ordered a full-scale military invasion of Kuwait. For years, Iraq had been struggling economically after its prolonged war with Iran in the 1980s. The country was heavily in debt, with billions owed to its Gulf neighbors, including Kuwait. Iraq accused Kuwait of overproducing oil and keeping prices low, something that crippled the Iraqi economy. Furthermore, Saddam Hussein claimed that Kuwait was historically a part of Iraq and had unfairly benefited from Iraqi resources. Kuwait, a small but wealthy nation, was quickly overrun by Iraqi forces. The invasion was met with international condemnation. The United Nations, led by the United States, issued resolutions demanding Iraq's immediate withdrawal. When diplomatic efforts failed, the stage was set for military intervention. What made Operation Desert Storm unique was the sheer scale of international cooperation. Under United Nations Resolution 678, a coalition of 35 nations, led by the United States, prepared to liberate Kuwait. More than 700,000 troops were deployed, with the majority from the United States, supported by Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, France, and other allied nations. This was the largest military alliance since World War II. This was not just a war, it was a statement. The Cold War had just ended, and the Soviet Union, once a key Iraqi ally, remained neutral. This signaled a shift in global power dynamics, with the United States emerging as the dominant world power. On January 17, 1991, the first phase of Operation Desert Storm began. The coalition launched a massive air campaign known as Shock and Awe. For 42 days, coalition forces carried out over 100,000 air sorties, dropping more bombs than in any conflict since World War II. Stealth bombers, cruise missiles, and satellite-guided weapons introduced a new era of warfare. The Iraqi military was overwhelmed. Their air defense systems were destroyed within days. Many Iraqi fighter pilots chose to flee rather than engage in combat, with some escaping to neighboring Iran. With Iraq's defenses weakened, the coalition launched the ground invasion on February 24, 1991. The coalition forces executed a bold maneuver nicknamed the Left Hook by sending United States and allied forces deep into the desert to outflank Iraqi troops. The strategy worked flawlessly. The Iraqi military, already weakened from the air campaign, collapsed quickly. More than 100,000 Iraqi troops surrendered without resistance. By February 28th, Kuwait was liberated. President George Herbert Walker Bush declared a ceasefire, bringing an end to one of the most decisive military campaigns in history. Despite the coalition's victory, the Gulf War did not remove Saddam Hussein from power. Instead, he remained in control of Iraq and brutally suppressed uprisings by the Kurdish population in the north and the Shiite population in the south. The United Nations imposed strict economic sanctions on Iraq, severely crippling its economy. However, Saddam Hussein remained defiant. For the next 12 years, tensions between Iraq and the West continued to escalate. The United States and the United Kingdom enforced no-fly zones over Iraq, leading to years of sporadic airstrikes. In hindsight, Many analysts consider the Gulf War a prelude to the Iraq War of 2003, in which the United States invaded Iraq again, this time with the goal of removing Saddam Hussein from power permanently. The Gulf War reshaped military strategy and geopolitics. It proved the effectiveness of precision air power, coalition warfare, and modern battlefield technology. It also marked the beginning of the United States' dominant role in global affairs following the Cold War. However, the war left a legacy of instability in the Middle East. The economic sanctions, regional tensions, and unresolved political conflicts set the stage for future wars. Was Operation Desert Storm a necessary intervention, or did it contribute to greater instability in the Middle East? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth historical analyses. Until next time, stay curious.